So, Catherine, we're recording conversations with leaders and asking them to tell us about how they co-produce and what the benefits of co-production are. So I thought it would be really helpful if you could please set the scene for us. So if you could say a little bit about co-production, the context of that within personalised care.
In 2010, the New Economics Foundation defined co-production as delivering public services in an equal and reciprocal relationship between professionals who are actually running the services and providing the services, and people, their families, carers, and the wider community. So it really is about a completely different way of working in public services, where power is shared between those providing the services and those receiving the services. And our public services are fantastic. You know, we've got some amazing people working in the front line and keeping the show on the road behind the scenes. But we have got into a mindset of doing things for people. Co-production is about doing things with people. It is a shift again to a much more equal relationship, like at the point of care between the person that you're providing the care to, if you're a clinician, but on a much more strategic level, and for leaders with the wider community, because public services, the clue is in the name, they belong to the public. The co-production is really fundamental to personalised care because it is all about that shared power. So we talk about shared decision making being one of the sort of fundamental parts of personalised care. So if you are sitting with your doctor, you're actually having a conversation about what matters to you, and then you're then making a decision together about the best course of treatment, support, or support to look after your health yourself. And similarly, you know, across other public services, those kind of shared decisions that you might have with your child's teacher or with somebody in social care. So it's not just an NHS thing. It's deep listening on all sorts of levels with all sorts of people on a continuous basis.
It is about recognising that we've all got something to bring, we've all got our experiences, and it's that diversity of experience that is so powerful. I think in the past it would have been a very narrow group of people who made all the decisions and determined kind of where we go, how we do things, and that would always have looked from the organisational perspective. So for me, it is very much about bringing together that diversity of experience, and it is particularly about what we call customer in the organisation where I'm working at the moment. It is about understanding what matters to them and how we deliver it.
It's attitude and it's a behaviour, so it's who you are as a person and your willingness to listen to others, work with others, share power with other people. For me, you know, co-production, it can sometimes be kind of seen as a bit of a faddy term, but actually what it means to me is working respectfully and as equal partners with other people, and it really is as simple as that.
Sometimes you get told, oh, you're doing a great service to the patients and you're doing this and that. And I'm thinking, well, no, because actually in doing it all, it's a service to me because I'm able to flourish and feel like I'm making a difference, and I'm building relationships that mean that I myself am part of a community, and I myself are contributing to my own health, if you like, as a person.
Wow, that's really, really powerful, isn't it? Just breathe. It's almost like you know that it lightens that load on your shoulders.
I was thinking back about a particular project I delivered probably, I don't know, nearly 20 years ago, actually, redesigning a Meals on Wheels service for a local authority. And I remember being incredibly proud of this new service that we'd set up, and it totally transformed the way it was done. But not once did actually, in that process, did we speak to anybody who was receiving any of these meals, whose lives we were actually delivering this service for. And I think I remember those decisions were purely driven by either financial efficiency or kind of something that some professional had told us that had sold us was a kind of really great thing. So it was fundamentally never went back to kind of I suppose, what's the problem we were trying to solve? What was the thing that wasn't working that we could do better?
I run a peer support group of people who use direct payments and who draw on care and support. We used to go around Birmingham and in the different wards and have meetings to support each other, and it's built on the founding principles of each one teach one, because co-production bringing diverse thinking and thoughts to create new ideas and new ways of thinking, and we bring that to our local authority.
It's just doing stuff together, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's it. It is doing stuff together, and sometimes we forget that.
We've just done a piece of work with our young people's services in one of our young people's foyers. We've got an expectation from our commissioner that we redesign that service. And again, we've got one of the young people living there has kind of taken a lead. We're obviously there behind them and supporting it, but he's taken the lead and he's engaging the young people living there. He can get them to talk about it in a way that we just couldn't. And again,
how amazing for him, because a byproduct, or kind of an unintended, I guess, consequence of that is his self-empowerment and his what an upskill for him, really.
It can be anything from ensuring that people with lived experience are on interview panels and are contributing towards job descriptions and appointing new people. It can be ensuring that they have a place and a voice on committees or on boards, where power is held, and that there is a voice and a insight from people with lived experience at in those different forums. I've thought about I remember where we have in the past engaged people with lived experience to provide training or undertake audits or offer advice or undertake research. There are a multitude of ways of ensuring that view, those relationships can become part and parcel of the everyday.
So for me, I would want them to see, to have an improvement in their health, and that's not just their physical health, but in their health overall, their psychological, their spiritual, their social health, their social connectivity. Because ultimately, I think that service users, residents, clients, just people, their meaning from life and their purpose for living comes in the context of community and in the context of having relationships that are reciprocal, and that contributes to health and well-being as a whole.
I guess as I have progressed in my career to more senior roles, then actually I am very conscious that role modelling is really important. So it's not necessarily what I say that is important, it's what I do, and the questions that I ask and the ways that I spend my time. Those are all things that send signals to other people about the value of co-production.
I think it probably is about being scared to let go, to not have that control. It's the sense that I suppose it's the fear of the unknown often, isn't it? It's because it does mean that you need, when you go into these initiatives, these projects or these conversations, you don't know what the answer is going to be. That can be threatening, that can be daunting. You can't control it in the way that you perhaps could in the past, but actually it's exciting as well.
Well, I think this is the best question actually out of all of them. It's messy. It's not a project. Co-production isn't a project. Doesn't fit into really nice sort of Gantt charts or timelines. It's time consuming. It takes energy. It takes relationship building. It can be challenging. People raising issues that you probably rather wouldn't be.
Vulnerability. In fact, vulnerability is a universal human emotion that we feel and we're all exposed to, and at times can feel uncertainty about it. Some people think it's a sign of weakness. And I believe it's a sign of strength.
Just had so many conversations with people this week about how crucial it is to find your vulnerability as a leader, because once you've done that, you can actually step into your kind of leadership power.
I would say my top one is it starts with you. As I say, it's not someone else's job. You can't commission this in. You can't see it as a task and finish. This starts with you, your own attitude, your own behaviour, and your own willingness to share power.
If you don't have a seat at the table, you're probably on the menu. So when you're thinking about co-production, you need to understand the concepts of equity, inclusion, and trust. First, do what's right. And that means care about doing what's right for people and for each other. Use our heads and our hearts to make fair decisions and not be afraid to hold ourselves accountable.
Don't be afraid of your own lived experience. Kind of use that as a powerful asset. And I would say that the moment you recognise the value of that is probably, hopefully like me, a light bulb moment where you recognise if you value that, then you will value the lived experience of other people as well.
Keep things simple and focus on what really matters. Be passionate about making it easy for people to have a life.
It's about relationships. You know, fundamentally, it is about respectful relationships. And I would say ensure you have time and you prioritise time to nurture those relationships. That builds trust and that builds the change in culture that you're wanting to see. And finally, I would say make a start. You know, don't make this some big thing. Make a start and then role model the behaviours and build from that initial, first step.
Wow, Emma, I've got genuine goosebumps listening to you, and I think just that last note, just start, make a start, do something, and we've all got it within us, haven't we, to have human conversation and build relationships, and where better place to start.